Do you suffer from mental illness? Then you might just be a reincarnated superhuman. Infinite is a sci-fi action movie that has Mark Wahlberg re-teaming with the director of Shooter, Anton Fuqua. Disclaimer, I'm not sure if that's how you say his name, and I'll probably always point that out whenever I review one of his movies. Huge props to Anton Fuqua as well. His filmography is nothing if not varied when it comes to genres. He has done period pieces, war movies, award-winning dramas, action movies, comedies, a sports movie, revenge vigilante stories, westerns, documentaries, and now science fiction. And they are all decent movies. Sure, some are absolutely better than others, but usually you sort of see directors, find their comfort zone and then stick with that. So it's cool to see someone in Hollywood taking chances and continually making original stuff, for the most part. He did do one sequel and a remake. In Infinite, Mark Wahlberg plays a man named Evan who has suffered with schizophrenia his entire life. At least that's what over 50 doctors in this movie's world have told him. And I guess if stuff like this actually did happen, that is probably how it would get labeled, and copious amounts of drugs would just be thrown at the problem. Here, it goes just a little beyond that, as Evan can do stuff that he has zero experience or training to do. Like forge a sword from scratch. If that's an illness, sign me up. Pretty early on in the movie, Evan meets a group of people that call themselves Infinites, and the gist is this. There's a group of people, I think they say about 500 across the entire globe, that are reincarnated when they die. They've been around forever, as far as we know, and they've kind of become divided down the middle into the believers and the bad guys. I don't remember what the bad guys call themselves. And basically, the bad guys just want to destroy the planet by getting this world-ending item, and the believers need to stop them. Evan is told that he's a believer, and in his previous life, he was the one who hid said world-ending item, and he's the only one that knows where it is. But he doesn't remember where he hid it. He doesn't even remember the fact that he's an Infinite. Curious. So what the believers have to do is jog his memory so that they can find the item before the bad guys do. Couple of things. Number one, and I didn't think about this until the movie was over, but if they had just left Evan alone, everything would have been fine. You'll see exactly what I mean when you watch it, but it's annoying. Does it ruin the movie watching experience? No, Anton Fuqua has a great style and quality that I always find enjoyable to watch. And number two, at one point, one of the good guys says that their mission statement is to leave the world a better place than they found it. But they're essentially immortals, so they're never gonna leave it. Maybe it's just me, but that gave me a little bit of a chuckle. Get a better mission statement, ma'am. Speaking of the way this movie handles the reincarnation thing, it's interesting. Unlike stuff like The Old Guard with Charlize Theron, where they're immortal and they just can't die, here in Infinite, they can die, but they then restart in a completely new body, and they get their memories back around puberty. Except for Evan in this case. He don't remember a thing. And that is what gives the main villain his motivation. Not that Evan can't remember anything, but that the main villain gets his memories back immediately upon being reincarnated. Think about that. He's fully aware, fully conscious, remembers everything for 9 solid months in the womb in utter darkness. Let that sink in for just a second. Yeah, that might drive anybody mad. That might drive anybody mad one time. Imagine how many times this guy's been reincarnated. He's been around since the beginning of time. So he's had it, and he wants to destroy every living thing on Earth. So he's like Thanos 2.0. But it makes sense, because if there's nothing left alive, then there will be nothing left for him to be reincarnated into. That's the way the movie explains it. Shout out to Chiwetel Ejiofor. Yep, that's what I'm going with. He plays the villain. He does a great scene-devouring job here with this performance, and he looks completely badass with the new bald head, full beard combo. My biggest gripe with this movie is the ending. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I gotta mention it. Now sure, it's science fiction, but it really jumps the shark in the climax. It's entertaining, no doubt, but it feels really out of place, even in this movie, so it's best to just sort of switch your brain off completely. Pure entertainment, nothing wrong with that. Now, I talked about Anton Fuqua doing original stories at the beginning, and it's an original story, and it falls in line with his filmography. Aside from Equalizer 2 and the Magnificent Seven remake, all of his movies are original efforts. They haven't been done before, but that's just the isolated stories. The concepts we've seen 1,000 times. So does this movie feel original? Well, when you watch the trailer, yeah, but now that I've seen the movie, not so much. Like I said, it's the style and quality from the director that make it enjoyable. And Mark Wahlberg, at least in my opinion, is always entertaining to watch. That being said, I don't think Infinite will end up on my rewatch list. It was fun while it lasted, for sure, but it's not as good as Shooter, as an example, which is a movie that I watch at least once a year. All that being said, it's still nice to get original movies and new movies in general. So what about you? Have you guys seen Infinite yet? It's on Paramount Plus if you want to watch it digitally. If you have seen it, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next one.